Welcome to JEE Mains Mathematics Demo Class. I am Aruna Devi. I have completed my Masters of Engineering in the academic year 2017 and my passing percentage is 95% with the honor of gold medal. My academic achievements are I have scored a centum in my grade 12 board examination. Even I am a university rank holder in both my degrees, that is bachelor's and master's degree. I have a total teaching working experience for almost 5 years. Recently, I have been employed with Byju's as an academic specialist for the JEE Mains Mathematics coaching. Before that, I have been employed with Ministry of Education in Maldives for the UK Cambridge IGCSE syllabus for AS and A levels, that is equivalent to grade 11 and grade 12 in Indian CBSE curriculum. Coming back to the JEE mains, that is joint entrance examination for the students who want to enroll into the centrally funded technical institutions in India. Those are that is NITs, triple ITs and IIDMs as well. These are the institutes where the student can enroll with a good JEE mains percentile. There are about 31 plus NITs and 24 plus triple ITs are there in India with 25,000 plus engineering seats. Students who want to prepare for JEE mains should take into the consideration that the total mark for the JEE mains is 300 marks, out of which 100 marks is allocated for mathematics. Here you have 25 questions. 25 questions is allocated for mathematics and each question carries 4 marks. That is, for every correct answer you will be awarded with 4 marks. If the answer is wrong, you will be deducted with -1. So that is 25 questions you will be awarded with 100 marks for only for mathematics. And with respect to syllabus, we do have like a 14 chapters for mathematics, and this examination is conducted by National Testing Agency, and students can appear for this exam and they can get a percentile. Based on their percentile, they will be enrolled into the NITs. With respect to the recent analysis, there are few different weightages. Likewise, 3 questions from each chapters, like every chapter will have the different weightage. So 3 questions will be under like vector algebra. Then the second one is limits and continuity, and the third one is sets, functions and relations, and the fourth one is differential equation. From those areas, 3 questions will be asked. Almost will be having 12 marks per each topic, whereas 2 marks will be mostly concentrated in like matrices and determinants, complex numbers, trigonometry, then sequence and series, and then the students can focus on permutation and combinations. Whereas the one question will be from the statistics and probability and the circle, straight lines, those topics. So students should concentrate more on vector algebra. So vector algebra is the very important topic. That's why we have taken for the today's session. That is vector algebra. So as per the job requirement, I was being instructed to take the session in bilingual. So I can take the session in English as well as in Tamil. So இங்கே வந்து நம்ம பார்த்தோம்னா வெக்டர் அல்ஜீப்ராங்கிறது இட் இஸ் something which any physical quantity or physical quantity அப்படின்னு இருந்ததுன்னா we have like a two determining parameters, that is magnitude and that is direction. So the object or whatever the thing we are considering, இப்போ ஒரு ஆப்ஜெக்ட் நம்ம வந்து கன்சிடர் பண்ணும்போது அதுக்கு டைரக்ஷனும் மேக்னிடியூட் இருந்ததுன்னா it comes under vector quantity, whereas if it has only magnitude மட்டும் இருந்ததுன்னா it comes under the scalar quantity. So today நம்ம என்ன பார்க்க போறோம்னா ஒரு 5 topics. So as far as the time constraint, I am taking 5 topics from vector algebra. That is, first topics is vectors. First one is vectors. Then position vectors, then we are going to see about directional cosine, then directional ratio, and just an introduction about the few types of vectors. So every object, all the object, first நம்ம எந்த டாபிக் எடுத்தாலும் மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ்ல we have to learn with application. So for example, vectorங்கிறது some object which has some motion, that is in traveling, ஒரு travelல இருக்கும்போது. அப்போ இதெல்லாம் வந்து எந்தெந்த ஏரியால வந்து applicable ஆகும்னா, for example we do have like a space science, space technology, that is aerospace, that is flight, rocket or எதுவா இருந்தாலும் it comes under space technology. அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா then about astrophysics, so about positioning of a celestial body. So celestial body வந்து எப்பவுமே வந்து it will be in the rotation, like angular rotation around some heavy object, celestial object. So அந்த இடத்துல நம்ம என்ன யூஸ் பண்றோம்னா இந்த மாதிரி வெக்டார் வந்து it plays a very major role. Even ஒரு aeroplane, இப்போ நீங்க ஒரு ரியல் டைம்ல பார்க்கணும்னா கூட if you are looking at aeroplane, அது வந்து it has its own mass, even aeroplane have its own mass, that is the magnitude. Even it has its own speed quantity, that is vector. It is traveling in a particular position. Directionங்கிறது திசை, எந்த திசையில போகுது, whether it is traveling in what position, what direction அப்படிங்கிறது position and the direction, எந்த டைரக்ஷனை நோக்கி போகுது ப்ளஸ் எந்த பொசிஷனில் இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது. அதே மாதிரி வெக்டர் அல்ஜீப்ரா வந்து it has different applications, even coordinate geometry கூட it will be included in this vector algebra, because all those positioning, அதுக்கப்புறம் coordinates, cartesian அதெல்லாமே வந்து எதுலனா வெக்டர் அல்ஜீப்ராவிலே நீங்கள் வந்து டீட்டெயிலாக படிச்சிருவீங்க. So if you are concentrating more on vector algebra, you will be covering the few topics from coordinate geometry as well. So in general we know two coordinates, that is x and y, right? Then one more coordinate is added, that is x, y and z, that is 3-dimensional. If it is 2-dimensional, we have only x and y. If it is 3-dimensional, we have x, y and z. So here just we are going to see about the representation of vector, how we will represent a vector. Representation of vector. So already I have told you vector is something which have a directional value, that is a vector. நம்ம ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்கு a vector னு எடுத்துக்குவோம், which have 3 components, that is x component, y component and z component. Understood? So here vector can be represented in terms of a capital alphabet, that is a vector, that is equal to x I cap plus y j cap plus j z k cap. So இங்க வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா x y z எல்லாம் வந்து என்னன்னா real quantities or real numbers. I, j, k are the unit component or unit vector along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So அதை நீங்க எப்படி represent பண்ணுவீங்க? How you will represent? Is it correct? So you will be representing anything in an anti-clockwise direction. Cartesian நீங்க எல்லாம் எப்பவுமே you should represent the quantity in anti-clockwise direction. So you can write like this also, x, y, z. Okay, so here the x cross y should give you z. நீங்க வந்து இந்த சைடு draw பண்ணிட்டு whether we can, அது வந்து என்னன்னா it is an imaginary axis. So even we can draw like this, but it is an imaginary axis of z. You can call it as z dash. Okay, but a vector should be like x, y, the cross of x and y should gives you z. Why? They are perpendicular to each other. All these x, y and z axis are perpendicular to each other. So perpendicular means it should be displaced with a 90 degree from each other. Understood? So this is the perpendicular to each other. So it should be like this. So each vector should be aligned with the each. So this may be your x plane, this may be your y plane, this may be your z plane. So this is about the representation of a vector. So next one is position vector of a point. Next important topic of a point. So okay, so here you know that we can position, I mean in the Cartesian system இப்படிதா இருக்கும்னு you have an idea, correct? So if something, a point P is here, okay, so it has its own coordinate x, y and z. Okay, so the line which is connecting this one, we will call it as r vector because it has its own direction. So அதை வந்து நம்ம எப்படி represent பண்ணுவோம்னா r vector ல represent பண்ணுவோம். So what is this? It is very important to mark origin every time. Okay, so r which is equal to OP vector, shall we write like that? That is equal to, we can write like a I cap plus b j cap plus c k cap. So whereas how we can represent the magnitude? Because magnitude is the scalar quantity, that is root of all these real numbers, b square plus c square. This is your position vector of a point P. That is with respect to how we are representing it. So here you have to note like OP vector is not equal to PO vector, because if you are traveling in this direction, it is considered as a positive. If you are considering like this, it is negative direction. Understood? So you should always represent this like OP vector which is equal to minus of PO vector. Understood? But only the vector will be like this, but whereas the magnitude will be the same. That is mod of OP vector is equal to mod of PO vector. There is no sign difference in between them. So we just done with what is vectors and what is position vectors. Then we are going to see about the directional cosine. Directional cosine, because இங்க வந்து நம்ம என்னன்னா ஒரு பாயிண்டோட பொசிஷன் கோஆர்டினேட்ஸ் நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டோம். this is coordinates p x y z எல்லாம் வந்து என்னன்னா coordinates, கரெக்ட்டா? ஆனா அது எந்த ஆங்கிள்ல வந்து இது கூட இன்க்ளைன் ஆயிருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற டேட்டா நமக்கு வேணுமா? so what we will do, we will mark the angles. That is, let us take this is alpha, and with respect to x-axis, as I have represented here, we can take this as an alpha, and this is y-axis, we can treat this like beta, and this one is gamma. So இது என்னன்னா இந்த with respect to those axis x கூட இது வந்து எவ்வளோ ஆங்கிள் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணியிருக்கு, இந்த வெக்டார் வந்து எவ்வளோ ஆங்கிள் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணியிருக்கு, அதே மாதிரி y கூட இந்த வெக்டார் வந்து எவ்வளோ ஆங்கிள் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணியிருக்கு, அதே மாதிரி z கூட இந்த ஆங்கிள் வந்து இந்த வெக்டார் வந்து எவ்வளோ ஆங்கிள் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணியிருக்குங்கிறத ஐடியா நம்மளுக்கு கொடுக்கும். ஸோ the general terminologies for cosinal directional cosines are L, M and N. So L is nothing but cos alpha and M is nothing but cos beta, and whereas N is equal to cos gamma. So how we can represent as a coordinate? We can represent like L comma M comma N. So that is nothing but cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma. Understood? That is about the directional cosine. We have done with the directional cosine as well. So here you have one more. So if you have this vector, if in the R vector, if you have some point is lying on that vector. For example, if you take like this, let us take this L. Let L be the point on the vector R. So இதை வந்து நீங்க எப்படி represent பண்ணுவீங்க? So you have some representation for this as well. So அதை வந்து நீங்க எப்படி represent பண்ணுவீங்க? Because it is on the R vector. Understood? So இது வந்து என்ன represent பண்ணுவீங்கன்னா, like this is the point OL, that is the magnitude of that particular point, that is this is the magnitude. அப்போ அதோட coordinates எப்படி இருக்கும்? How their coordinates will be? So the L coordinate will be, that is the point L will be, the coordinates will be, it has some directional cosine, right? LR, MR and NR. So we do have like what are the coordinates we have? X, Y and Z. So how we can represent in the form of this magnitude OL, that is equal to magnitude of OL vector, that is equal to L square R square plus M square R square plus N square R square. We can take out R as common. So if you are taking R square as outside the root, you will be getting R. Then we will have L square plus M square plus N square. Whereas this one will be equal to R. Why is it? This L root of L square plus M square plus N square will be literally equal to 1. Because addition of square of sum of square of all these directional cosines will be equal to 1. So we will conclude like cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is equal to 1. So as we know, the trigonometric identity of cos square alpha is 1 minus sin square alpha. If we replace everything with 1 minus sin square alpha, 1 minus cos square beta, 1 minus sin square gamma, that is equal to 1, then you will be getting sin square alpha plus sin square beta plus sin square gamma, that is equal to 2. So these are the two important inferences from the given topic. So this is very important with respect to the directional cosine. So what is directional ratio? Directional ratio, what do you mean by directional ratio? So here directional ratio is the multiples of directional cosine. Understood? So here we do have like a, whatever the multiples of direction cosine will gives you the directional ratio. So here next one is we are going to see about the directional ratio. That is nothing but the multiples of directional cosine. That is, what is the representation we will do for we did for directional cosine? L, M, N. So it will be like L by A, that is equal to M by B, that is equal to N by C, where A, B, C are the real numbers based on the directional ratios. So this one, because we can reciprocate, even the reciprocal will be the same, because with respect to ratios we can alter the numerator and denominator. So C by N. As we have all the x, y, z components, we can take a modulus. So a square plus b square plus c square, root divided by root of L square plus M square plus N square. Already we have did a one analysis, that is all these I mean the sum of the square of the directional cosines will be equal to 1, which is nothing but plus or minus root of a square plus b square plus c square. So this is the inference. So at last what we can write, that is L, which is equal to A, that is plus or minus. So if wherever the square root involves, we should use plus or minus. So root divided by a square plus b square plus c square. So you have to apply the root. So this is the conclusion of the directional ratios. So what are the types of vectors? So these are the simple topics. So based on the applications, you can categorize all these. இது வந்து எல்லாமே நீங்க வந்து ஈஸியா வந்து இது பண்ணிக்கலாம். So it is very easy topic to study. எவ்வளவு ஈஸியா இருக்கு வெக்டர் கால்குலஸ்ல. இதுல இருந்து உங்களுக்கு क्वेश्चन கேட்டாங்கன்னா கண்டிப்பா நீங்க வந்து 3 क्वेश्चंस வந்து இதுல இருந்து சால்வ் பண்ண முடியும். So types of vectors. டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் வெக்டார்ஸ்னா என்னென்ன இருக்கும்? பேசிக்கா என்னென்ன வெக்டார்ஸ் நம்மளுக்கு வந்து தெரியும். ஒன்று வந்து பேசிக்கா நம்ம எல்லா இதுலேயுமே வந்து மேக்ஸில் வந்து ஜீரோ அண்ட் 1 பிளேஸ் அ மேஜர் ரோல். அப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் வெக்டரில் என்ன இருக்கும்? கண்டிப்பாக ஜீரோ வெக்டாருங்கிறது ஒன்று இருக்கும். கரெக்டாக? ஸோ ஜீரோ வெக்டார்னா இட் ஹாஸ் நோ வேல்யூ, தட் இஸ் ஏ வெக்டார். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் we will represent like null vector or zero vector. அப்போ நம்ம சொல்லும் போது என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? a vector will be equal to 0. அதே மாதிரி next one is unit vector. So a cap we will represent like a cap, that is அதோட இது என்னன்னா a vector divide by modulus of a vector. So this is about the unit vector. So one more vector வந்து என்னன்னா parallel vector. Parallel vectorsனா என்னன்னா two vectors which travel in the same direction. For example, a vector and b vector. Then negative vector. Negative vector na enadhu? So already I have told you, this is an example of negative vector. So OP vector, that is equal to negative of PO vector, that is the mathematical standard form. So this is an example for negative vector. அதே மாதிரி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா collinear vector. For example, if let us take L vector. So if we draw some two vectors in the same direction of different magnitudes, those are the collinear vectors. So these are the different types of vectors we know in the mathematical terms. These are the basic terminologies with respect to vectors. So in the previous year question, they have asked you to find the magnitude of this one. This question was asked in I cap minus 2j cap plus 3k cap. So this question was asked in your 2023 JEE mains examination. Okay. So this is very important question. It is easier to find the magnitude, right? How you will find the magnitude? Very easy, right? So you have to square all the real terms, that is root of 36 plus 4 plus 9, right? That is equal to root of 49. If you take something out of the root, it will be plus or minus 7. So that this will be your magnitude of the given vector. So these are the simple questions will be asked in your JEE mains. So while you are preparing for the JEE mains, always use to refer the previous year questions. So you will get an idea. There will be no repetitions of question. எப்பவுமே வந்து மெயின்ஸ்ல வந்து JEE mains ஆகட்டும் இல்லை வந்து IIT JEE advanced ஆகட்டும் எப்பவுமே வந்து questions வந்து repeat பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. So they will be giving you a different questions. They never give you a repeated questions. So be thorough with the concepts, then you will be cracking this exam. So every examination have a decoding. So இப்போ வந்து ஒரு டாபிக்னா அதை ஈஸியாக நீங்கள் எவ்வளோ டீகோட் பண்ணலாங்கிறது தான் இங்கே விஷயமே. So thanks for your time. So this is about the today's topic. So I think I have justified my work. So thank you. So that's for the today. So have a good day. Thank you so much.